Welcome to Center Heights Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciate that. Thank you to my subscribers and followers. Please share it with your friends and family, and I appreciate your support. It means a lot to me as we try to grow this channel. We take great pride in the fact that we uh, have built this channel on a very moral basis, as far as we don't run off of crap as far as making up gossip to get you here. That I take great pride in. We stick to factual information as it falls and not going to just draw someone in for a bunch of gossip, which 99% of the time never transpires. It's just to talk and have something to draw people in. And we also don't use clickbait to get here. And we take great pride at that here. All right. And good community here, so we keep respectful amongst each other, and that is definitely expected. But leave your comment at each end of each video if you like. I eventually will get to them. I'm a little busy with an outreach, but I will get to them. However, yeah, we're going to just keep them respectable. Let's get to the game. This is the review of what a huge game. This was a huge game, and this was a game I really was extremely concerned about. That team, that Columbus team, was in Montreal last night, and I was concerned in my pre judgment. I thought this was a game we were going to lose because they are built so big and strong, and they got good talent. This team is built well. Um, they're a bruising team, and physicality wise, I don't believe we're a match for them. However, we did come out on top last night with great heart and soul. Dobes once again stood tall. Um, you can't say enough about what he's done so far. He's just been incredible. Two back-to-back extreme important games, and he was outstanding. Stood his ground and stopped some big shots when he needed to. Uh, Not as heavy as the other night against Carolina, but he was still there, and they even took a run at him. So we're gonna have to. Montreal is going to have to address that because we are not a big enough squad, and Columbus took advantage of that. All right, let's get to it. Last night, 1-1 was the score in the first period. Second period, there was no scoring, and Montreal got the third period goal with a 2-1 victory and two very, very unlikely goal scores. Struble. Duke finally snaps that drought. So great to see the guys that, unsung heroes that normally don't come through. No goals from our number one line. That was different. However, this was a night where Slav didn't look as sharp. He kind of took a bit of a. They were on him. They were giving him a few shots. He just didn't look as sharp. Um, they looked all right, the first line, but not as sharp. Second line played well. Demidov played hard. Kapanen. Yeah, that line was half decent. Montreal's lines matched okay. Um, yeah, so it was quite an interesting. Sorry, I had a pause there because the internet clicked out on me, which I'm not too impressed about. That's East Link for you. Yeah, so let's talk about it. The way this game went, and it was very interesting, uh, to say the least. Let's go. Scoring starts in the first period. 9:54 in. Jaden Struble walks in since they gave him so much space. Zach Bolduc found him, and the play started with Lane Hudson, who gave it to Zach. Zach finds straight Jaden open, and Jaden sees all the space. He walks in. Smart move. Good. Congrats on that. That was very wise, and he steps in and he wires a shot over the short side. 9:54. 12-17, Severson scores, assisted by Jenner and Lundstrom, and they tie this thing up, and that's how your first period ends. 4:36, Zach Bolduc finally gets the monkey off the back. Mike Matheson starts to play, passes to Jake Evans. Jake puts a beautiful cross ice pass, and Zach Balduke just wires it. Oh, short side again, same spot, same area as Struble. So they must have had a report on the goaltender. And that must have been something they looked at because they were shooting for that area quite a bit. Now, so that's the way it went. That was the end of your scoring, and it was a tight, very good quality game. Um, these guys played hard for both teams. Good to see Montreal ended it before it went to overtime. These 2 points with the way the division is. I mean, you had Ottawa in overtime, you had Pittsburgh in overtime. Um, a lot of teams, in the division ended up in overtime getting even a point, coming out with overtime victories. So getting the win in regulation was crucial for Montreal because these teams are right up our derriere. You can't make a move right now where a loss of a game is huge. So Montreal is showing some great resilience. Still say there's a lot to correct in their own end. Uh, I mean, last couple games they wouldn't have these victories if it wasn't for Dobes. He's been playing extremely solid, standing on his head, making some very crucial saves. Now let's talk about the issue when he got ran by Jenner, and you seen the heart. I like seeing the heart of the boys, and that's great. Little Hudson, but that's not something you're going to be able to carry forward. Montreal is going to have to address it. I do. I watched the Marinero show last night, and I totally agree with Pierre Maguire on the statement he made. Whereas I think Montreal failed on the trade deadline. I think they needed to address it. That it didn't even have to spend a fortune, but get some size into the damn lineup. And they failed on that. And this is going to be something. Whereas I know Jeff Gordon is a phenomenal at building a team, but usually they tend to be offensive. My question is, can you build it with playoff? What it takes for playoff a physical team, like adding physicality to that, some size, because that's something I've noticed with the Rangers. They fell off the cliff pretty quick. They went all offensive. I hope we're not going down that road where we think we can go with just an offensive team. It's not an ingredient to win the Stanley Cup. Now we've come a long ways, and there's still good amount of time to put in the missing pieces. But I have to say, this team is not big enough to endure a long playoff process. Could we win a round or two? Yes, I think they've got the quality that way. I just don't think physically they're big enough to take the physicality. You look at all the last Stanley Cup winning teams, all of them every year. It was a team that had the physicality to go along with it and could um, handle the rough grind of the playoff. Montreal doesn't have that ingredient. It showed last night, unable to protect Dobish like they tried, and that's good that they have the team spirit. I'm firm too here. I mean, if you're not going to use Jack Guy, why don't you put him on the fourth line, start training him? I think Jack Guy, if you could put some time in him. I'd be very curious because just some clips I remember seeing him in his first season. He went up out of his position and was making some big hits in the offensive zone, and he looked pretty good in that area. Um, I think they should try him. I think he could bring more than anybody from the AHL, um, grinding wise and smacking. That way, you got a little bit of grit to fight back with a team so huge like Columbus. I mean, we had no response. That team is a bunch of giants compared to us. I mean, I was proud of us that we stood up to Jenner, who was a monster compared to Hudson, and that's great. But we're going to have to add to it, and I think that's why we're not going to go as far as we could have had we have addressed it in the trade deadline. I do think the management has done a wonderful job so far building the team. I think this is the area that now they're going to have to focus on. Size makes a difference. We got a small defense. Really, I mean, we're going to have to address it. And you're sitting here debating on if it looks like you're going to trade Jack. I think that's a mistake. I know that Strubal's outplayed him so far of late. Doesn't always hang on though. And two of them are outplayed by Enstrom if when Enstrom time is ready. However, I think that deterrent that Jack brings is huge. I would figure a way to restructure his role. If that means you got to put him in as a forward, that also leaves the option out as you got an extra defenseman, so they can play with that if they know how to play with lines. I still say defense coaching needs massive upgrade to go. I think we're doing fabulous. Dobish, and this is something too, I'd say in the Montreal press and Montreal fan base, you better wake up and give um, ownage to proper due um, respect and get backing up. Give him the proper support, Dobish, because this could be your guy. I know everybody thinks it's going to be Fowler. Um, who's doing the proving right now? It's Dobish, and he does. You don't deserve to turn your back on him when the guy's playing as well as he is. Thank God we had him because he's definitely made up for Monty's lack thereof. So you better, we as Montreal fans need to back up this kid. He's doing fabulous, and there's no one yet that can say who's going to be the starter because they're different ingredients. I still think that Dobish and Fowler are whichever way it turned out. I'm not saying which way it's going to, but at this point, he's clearly the starter. Hands down, this is not even close. Not, I know they're going to be pushing for Fowler, and I think it's a mistake when you just push for one guy. You got to go with who's earning it. And that's not a knock against Fowler. But we've done this before. We got behind Primo, and he flopped. So, and I'm not saying Fowler is Primo. However, I'm saying give proper due respect and support to the guy who's earning it. And Dobish is showing his combativeness, fighting for that, and showing how he fights through a game. And just standing on his head. There's a lot of games here right now. Habs, they're so fortunate they've had him in the net because had anybody else been in the net, and I'm saying anybody else, I mean, this guy's standing right now in the last little stretch here as being in first place in the goaltending battle in the league. We better get off our arses and stop just following what reporters say and stuff because they want to push a guy. I do like Fowler as well. However, you have to prove yourself, and when it comes to the big league, and I do think Fowler's good. Um, he's already shown that he's better than Monty. I think they're a great one-two punch. I don't care how it turns out, but we need to support our goaltenders properly when they're earning it. Give them the respect because Dovish deserves a lot of respect for what's going on here, and his record deserves it. So I think for any Habs fan to give this kid a hard time or don't give him the proper due um, support and praises he deserves is a mistake. Just because what he's not French or he's not the kid that was drafted. That you promoted, this kid is earning it and he's showing it, and I don't even think he's done showing his ceiling. Um, Great on him, battler. And I love Fowler too. I think Fowler. I just don't think Fowler's totally ready for the starter position yet. That's not a knock. Who's to say? Maybe by training camp, you never know. However, I think if we're being fair, we gave that starter role to Monty. Dobish has earned it now, so let him run with it. And it's the same thing until someone can knock him out of it. Different ball game. We have to give him the same fair shake we gave Monty, and he's been proving himself. So, like I say, and I do believe him and Fowler are the future in the net. 1-2 punch, whichever way it turns out who the starter is in the backup. Either way, you can't go wrong. I think these two kids are showing that our net will be in good shape. Defense, another story. We got to size up, and actually, we got to size up front because I still say we should have. I grabbed a big top six forward for a winger, or just even if it was farther in the lineup, like a third or fourth liner, just something that would have. There were plenty of guys around that would have cost you only a third rounder. So I totally 100% agree with McGuire. I think that is the one area this management team they're great. They're great guys. This is not a long term thing against knock against them, but this they made a mistake on this trade deadline. make no mistake, you're going to see it in the playoffs because they're not going to be able to go all the way because they didn't address this. That is all I have to say on that one. We have the Predators coming Saturday, and should be an interesting game. So go Habs, go! Congratulations to Struble and Bolduc. They played very solid games. Bolduc, good. He's playing some good, much better hockey now. He's just got to learn the defensive side of it is where his improvements are needed. But showing that grit, he's getting in there. I love what he's doing with the forecheck. He's making that hit on the defense and just doing it, and that's the way you got to do it. Foligno also looked good in replacing Texier with Texier's injured, and unfortunately, because he's such a good player. But I like for Foligno just jumping in, he was banging. He doesn't have to score a lot. That's a lot of times that's a lot of the unsung hero things we need done. So you've seen it here at Center Heights Productions, where the buck drops first. Go Habs, go! Way to go! And congrats to those two gentlemen and Dobes, who's standing on his head. These guys deserve the praises that they're, when they earn it. And so I'm giving them, singing them praises. Way to go! And let's hope we have to keep the foot on the gas, or you can't lose here. So we got the Preds. This is a good chance for a win, but we can't take them lightly because they've been playing some good hockey. Other than they lost last night, that's first loss in a bit. They're playing good hockey, so we better be ready. We can't lose games, guys. Foot needs to stay on gas. Catch you when it's all said and done. We'll catch you in the next review against the Predators.